Right now, thoughts are moving inside your mind. They appear as a voice. They trigger emotions. They feel personal. And your entire life you have assumed that this voice is you. If a thought appears, it must come from me. If a sentence unfolds inside my head, it must be my identity speaking. If fear rises, then I must be the fear. If doubt rises, then I must be the doubt. But you never stopped to verify that assumption. You never stepped outside the stream to see what is actually going on. You only followed. You only identified. You only surrendered. It is time to question the unquestioned. Every single day, more than 50,000 thoughts enter your awareness. You do not choose them one by one. You do not sit down and decide, now I will worry. Now I will remember a mistake from years ago. Now I will compare myself to someone else. They simply appear. They intrude. They shape your mood. They shape your beliefs. They shape the story you call your life. So here is the moment where everything shifts. Ask yourself this simple question. If I did not choose this thought, why am I treating it as my truth? If I did not generate this fear, why should I live my life protecting it? If I did not decide to think I am not enough, why should I behave as if that is who I am? A thought is a signal. A thought is a temporary movement in consciousness. Thoughts rise like waves, rise on the surface of the ocean. They break, then they disappear, but the ocean remains, wide, deep, silent, immense. You are the ocean. Thoughts are only the waves. Once you recognize this separation, even for a moment, something inside you changes. A crack opens in the illusion. The power thoughts once had begins to dissolve. When fear appears, you see it instead of becoming it. When judgment appears, you watch it instead of obeying it. When a limiting belief enters your mind, you sense that it is not the voice of your true self. It is only a pattern passing by. Look at a thought right now. Any thought. Maybe it is about your future. Maybe it is about your body. Maybe it is about someone who hurt you. Notice how it arrived without your permission. Notice how you did not consciously invite it. Notice how it tries to convince you that its message is real. But ask this, did I create this thought, or did it appear by itself? If it appeared by itself, then it is a visitor, not the owner of this mind. And you are the one who chooses whether the visitor stays. The moment you see this clearly is the moment you wake up from a dream you have been stuck in. A dream where every thought was treated as destiny. A dream where you believed every worry was a warning. A dream where you gave authority to a voice that did not deserve it. Now imagine another possibility. Imagine standing firmly as the observer, aware of every thought, but untouched by any of them. Like the sky watching clouds. The clouds can be dark or bright, heavy or light, quiet or storming, yet the sky remains untouched. The sky does not change because a cloud passes in front of it. The sky is always vast, always open, always free. This is who you are, the open sky, not the cloud. You have been living as if the cloud owns the sky, as if thoughts own you, but they do not. They never did. You only believed they did, and belief is the greatest power you ever gave away. Take that power back. When a thought says, you cannot succeed, do not bow down. It is only a sound in the mind. When a thought says, you are not worthy, do not shrink. It is only an echo of the past. When a thought says, everything will go wrong, do not surrender. It is only a prediction based on fear, not truth. You are not required to fight your thoughts. Fighting keeps you inside the game. You simply observe. You simply watch. You simply allow. And when you allow without identifying, the thought loses its force. It becomes weak. It fades. It dies. For the first time, you see that freedom does not come from controlling what appears in the mind. Freedom comes from recognizing what you are in the presence of the mind. You are the one who sees. You are the one who notices. You are the one who is aware that thoughts exist. And awareness is not a thought. Awareness does not come and go. Awareness does not rise and fall. Awareness does not demand attention. It is always here, silent, open, unaffected. That is the moment of breakthrough, the moment you stand outside of thought and realize the voice is not the owner, the thoughts are not the master. You are the one who has been listening. You are the space where everything appears. You are the witness of the mind, and the witness is always greater than what it observes. You are not the story your thoughts are telling. You are the one reading the story. You are not the noise in your head. You are the silent presence beneath all noise. You are not the fear. You are the strength that sees the fear and remains untouched. You are not the doubt. You are the clarity watching the doubt come and go like waves in the night. As soon as you realize this truth, reality can no longer control you through old patterns. The narrative loses its spell, the illusion collapses, and what remains is you, vast, conscious, free. You have stepped out of the prison, not by breaking the walls, but by recognizing the walls were never real. Thoughts feel personal because they appear inside your head. You experience them as internal voices and images. They arise in a space that feels private, so you conclude that you are the thinker, that you create every thought you hear. This assumption collapses the moment you look at what neuroscience has actually discovered. Researchers have measured the brain activity that happens right before you become aware of a thought or a decision. The surprising finding is that your brain generates the neural signals related to a thought a few hundred milliseconds before you consciously notice it. In other words, the mechanics of thinking begin before awareness enters the scene. You do not start the process. You arrive late to the result. You are the witness to a decision your brain already made. You observe the finished product and then claim authorship because it appeared inside your skull. The timeline itself proves the illusion. An unconscious process fires. The thought becomes prepared. The thought enters awareness. Then you react as if you made it. Take a simple example. Lift your hand. Watch it move. It feels like you made the decision in real time. But the brain scan would show that the motor cortex signaled the action before you experienced choosing it. By the time you became aware, the decision had already been initiated. The conscious mind then constructed a story. I chose to do this. In reality, consciousness is narrating after the fact. If this is true for an action as simple as lifting a hand, imagine what it means for the complexity of your inner voice. What you experience as your intention is a delayed interpretation. What you experience as your thinking is a narrated summary of processes outside your control. Your thoughts are finished events delivered to your awareness. They are not commands from a central identity. They are signals from deeper layers of cognition that operate without conscious supervision. The voice in your head is not a generator. It is a commentator. You can verify this directly. Try to predict your next thought. You cannot. How can you be the thinker if you cannot know what you will think before you think it? How can you be the author if the content surprises you again and again? Imagine a person standing in front of a radio. The station suddenly changes. A new song begins to play. The person hears the music and proudly claims that they composed it. That is what you do every time a thought appears in your mind and you assume it came from your identity. The brain functions as a receiver and filter of information. It continuously integrates memories, emotions, patterns, and external data. Thoughts appear when neural circuits fire in predictable ways based on previous experiences. They are predictions disguised as opinions. They are memories disguised as truth. They are reactions disguised as identity. Your conscious self is the last to know. There is something else that becomes clear when you examine the brain carefully. It is always searching the environment. It is always scanning, always anticipating what might happen next. It predicts threats. It anticipates pleasure. It looks for patterns because patterns mean survival. This is why the mind repeats old stories even when they are painful. They feel familiar, so the brain marks them as safe. So the majority of thoughts that appear are not reflections of the present moment. They are echoes of the past projected into the future. They are fears from years ago pretending to protect you now. They are judgments learned from others pretending to be your own voice. If your brain creates thoughts based on old data instead of current truth, then treating every thought as accurate is a guaranteed way to suffer. And here is the deeper revelation. If the brain is a receiver, then the content it receives can be influenced by more than personal memory. It can tune into fields of information beyond individual experience. Collective beliefs, cultural narratives, group fears, social pressures. They all enter the mind without permission. They all become thoughts that feel personal but are not. Consider what happens when a large group of people become afraid of something. News spreads, conversations repeat, You begin thinking about the same thing, not because it affects your life directly, but because the collective field has been amplified. You are tuning into the frequency that is loudest in the environment, and you mistake that broadcast for your personal mind. If the brain were a generator, this could not happen, but because the brain is a translator of signals, this happens constantly, which means a significant part of your thinking is borrowed from others. How many fears are actually yours? How many beliefs did you truly choose? How many limits are inherited instead of discovered? When you stop and reflect, it becomes obvious. You have been living with a mind that internalized voices from parents, teachers, society, media, and the collective. They all blended into the voice you now call me. The science is not telling you that you are powerless. It is showing you that you have misidentified the source of your inner world. You have been blaming yourself for thoughts that were never yours. You have been defining your identity based on random signals. You have been obeying a voice that did not earn the right to lead you. There is a moment in this realization where you may feel discomfort. If I am not creating my thoughts, then what am I? Do not rush to fill the silence. Stay with the question. Let it open space. Something extraordinary emerges from that space. Awareness. Awareness is not a thought. Awareness is not delayed. Awareness does not rationalize. Awareness does not analyze. Awareness is the direct knowing that thinking is happening. Awareness is the quiet presence that sees every signal appear and disappear. While the brain produces the content, awareness provides the context. While the brain narrates the story, awareness is the open space where the story plays. Awareness is not in the brain. Awareness is what perceives the brain. Awareness is not controlled by patterns. Awareness can witness the pattern and choose a different response. Here's the key. When you identify with thoughts, your awareness is overshadowed. You shrink yourself down into the content of the mind. You limit yourself to the smallest part of your intelligence. But when you identify with awareness, the brain becomes a tool. Thoughts become suggestions, not commands. And your relationship with reality shifts from fear to clarity. Science shows you are not thinking. Something deeper is thinking for you. Spirituality shows you are not the thinker. You are the awareness of thinking. Together, they reveal the illusion. The illusion that thoughts equal identity. The illusion that the voice in your head is the truth. The illusion that you must obey what appears in your mind. Your brain receives signals, but you decide which signals you invest in. You decide which ones matter. You decide whether a thought becomes your path or dissolves into silence. The brain may create noise, but awareness chooses the signal. This is the point where knowledge becomes power. The moment you stop believing every thought is an order. The moment you realize the brain is just the messenger. The moment you remember that you are the one listening. A thought appears, then another, then another. They stack one over another like waves hitting a shoreline that never gets a moment of calm. You feel them, you react to them, you become them. At least that is what you have believed. But something surprising is happening every time a thought enters your mind. Something hidden but powerful, something you have missed your entire life. There is a presence that notices the thought. If a thought were truly you, then who is the one seeing it? If fear were truly your identity, then who is the one aware that fear is rising? If doubt were the core of your being, then who is the one sensing that doubt feels uncomfortable? Notice this. A thought cannot observe itself. A judgment cannot judge itself. A worry cannot watch itself appear. The very fact that you are aware of thinking proves that you are not the thinking. Behind every thought is a witness. This witness has always been here. Quiet, invisible, patient. It has watched every memory, every mistake, every desire, every victory, every late night of anxiety, every morning you try to rebuild yourself. It sees everything, yet it remains untouched by anything. This witness does not panic when fear arises. Fear panics, not the witness. The witness does not collapse when doubt appears. Doubt collapses, not the witness. The witness does not break when sadness flows through your body. Sadness breaks, not the witness. You have been so focused on the content of your mind that you have forgotten the space that holds that content. You have stared so deeply into the movie that you forgot you are the one sitting in the theater. You believed the story on the screen was your entire reality. Now the lights turn on. The observer emerges. Imagine you walk into a room filled with mirrors. Everywhere you look, you see reflections. You might think the reflections are everywhere, but the truth is simple. There is only one you, and everything else is reflection. In the same way, there is only one awareness, and everything else is reflection inside that awareness. Every thought is only a mirror of something passing, but the one who sees remains unchanged. This recognition changes the foundation of your existence, not because you force a new belief, but because you directly experience a deeper truth. Try this now. Sit silently for a moment. A thought will come, maybe about the past, maybe about what you want, maybe about this moment. As soon as you notice the thought, say silently, "There is a thought." Then ask, who noticed it? If you can notice a thought, then you cannot be the thought. This is the birth of the observer. The moment you step back and see your mind from the outside, you no longer drown in the story. You stand on the shore, watching the waves rise and fall. You begin to sense a separation, a gentle distance between what you are and what appears inside your experience. And that distance is freedom. You are no longer defined by the voice in your head. You no longer collapse into the worry or the pain. You see it, and what you see cannot control you. Control requires invisibility. Once you see the mechanism, you are no longer controlled by it. Most people spend their entire lives stuck in a loop. Thought appears, emotion follows, reaction happens, then the loop repeats. They never pause long enough to witness the pattern. They never rise above the automatic cycle. But you are stepping out of that loop right now. You are realizing that thoughts are movements within consciousness. Emotions are changes in energy. Experiences are temporary forms. And you are the constant behind all forms. Awareness does not have a shape. Awareness does not have a story. Awareness does not have a beginning or an end. It is always here, the quiet background of every moment, the one true foundation beneath every shifting state. When you stop identifying with the noise and return to the awareness that hears the noise, a profound shift occurs. You start responding to life rather than reacting to it. You start choosing rather than being forced. You start seeing clearly rather than being blinded by internal storms. This is the first taste of inner authority. Feel what happens inside you as you read these words. Something in you already knows this truth. Something in you has always known. You have felt this observer many times. In moments of shock where the mind went blank and you saw the world with perfect clarity. In moments of beauty where thought paused and pure presence showed itself. In moments of silence where you sensed yourself without language. Those moments were not accidents. They were reminders of what you are beneath the chatter of the mind. You are not discovering the observer. You are remembering it. Picture a flashlight moving around a dark room. Wherever the light points, you see a piece of the room. But the light itself is never seen. It is simply known through its illumination. Awareness is that light. Thoughts and emotions are the objects being lit. Without awareness, thoughts would not be seen. Without awareness, there would be no experience. Awareness is the foundation. The mind is the activity on the foundation. And when you turn the light of awareness inward, something extraordinary happens. Identifications fall away. Narratives lose their grip. Reality becomes clearer. Presence intensifies. You feel yourself as awareness rather than as the story. The observer does not need validation. It does not need to win. It does not need to be right. It simply is complete, present, silent, awake. Feel that silence right now. That silence is not empty. It is alive. It is full. It is aware of itself. It is the real you. You do not need to think to be alive. You do not need to speak to know yourself. You do not need to become anything to exist completely. Awareness is enough. Thoughts will continue to appear. Emotions will continue to rise. The world will continue to move. But when you are rooted in awareness, nothing can shake the core of you. The storm can rage, yet the sky remains open. The ocean can roar, yet the depth remains calm. Life can challenge you, yet your true identity remains untouched. Your mind has been the narrator of your life so far, but the observer is the author, and the author is awakening. Breathe into this truth. Let it settle into your body. Feel the spaciousness behind your thoughts. Feel the stillness beneath your emotions. Feel the presence that sees everything. You are that presence. Do not rush from this recognition. Let the observer rise fully from the shadows. Let it take its rightful place as the center of your awareness. Let it replace the illusion that thoughts are in control. Because once the observer emerges, there is no going back. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot believe the old story again. You cannot return to the prison once you have stepped into freedom. You have crossed the threshold. The witness is awake, and everything that comes next is transformation. Thoughts are not born inside your head. They arrive, they enter, they broadcast, they come from somewhere, and that somewhere is larger than the brain, larger than the body, larger than the personal identity you have been conditioned to defend. There is an invisible environment surrounding you at all times, a field that every living thing participates in, a field of information and energy, a field that contains memory, intention, emotion, belief, possibility, a field that responds to the way you observe reality. This is not imagination. This is measurable. The heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet in every direction. The brain does as well, but the heart field dominates. These fields do not just sit there. They interact. They exchange data with the environment. They communicate with the fields of others. They constantly transmit your inner state outward into the shared space of consciousness. You are not a closed system. You are a broadcasting and receiving station within a collective network. When you walk into a room and immediately sense the tension or comfort there, your mind did not analyze it logically. Your field felt the information first. When you think of someone and they suddenly message you, there is communication beyond speech. When a global event occurs and millions feel anxiety without experiencing anything directly, there is transmission of frequency across the collective. This reveals a truth that changes everything. Your thoughts are influenced by the field you are tuned into, and the field you tune into is influenced by the state of your awareness. Imagine a radio. It can tune into many stations. Some channels broadcast fear, some broadcast inspiration, some broadcast noise, some broadcast clarity. The radio does not create the signal. It receives and amplifies what it is set to. Your brain is that radio. Consciousness is the one who chooses the frequency. When you are identified with every passing thought, you automatically tune into the loudest frequencies in the collective. Most of those frequencies are survival-based. Fear, doubt, lack, comparison, control. They dominate the mental environment because they are reinforced by society, repeated by media, shared through culture, and once a frequency gains momentum in the collective, more minds begin to tune into it unconsciously. The more minds tune in, the stronger the broadcast becomes. You think you are having a personal belief, but it has been downloaded from the shared field without your permission. Fear spreads like a signal. So does self-judgment. So does hopelessness. So does shame. They replicate themselves because they activate ancient parts of the nervous system. They keep you alert, but they also keep you trapped. The field contains more than darkness, though. It also holds intelligence, creativity, love, insight, courage. But these frequencies are quieter because they do not demand attention through threat. They require awareness. They require presence. They require the observer. And when the observer leads, the tuning shifts dramatically. You can experience this directly. When you feel grateful, you notice more things to be grateful for. When you feel curious, the world becomes interesting. When you feel calm, challenges seem manageable. The field is responding. It is reorganizing around your broadcast. It is not magic. It is resonance. Everything in the universe vibrates, whether particle or thought or emotion. Like frequencies attract each other, they synchronize, they align. Fear attracts more fear. Clarity attracts clarity. When your awareness chooses a new frequency, your entire environment begins to adjust. People interact differently. Opportunities appear where before you saw blocks. Your life begins to reflect the state of your consciousness instead of the state of your old conditioning. The observer is not passive. It is a tuning mechanism. Think about the moments in your life when you felt inspired or aligned. It felt like ideas arrived out of nowhere. Solutions appeared at the perfect time. You said the right thing without planning. You felt guided. That experience was you tuning into a different layer of the field. A layer that holds intelligence rather than fear. The field is layered. At the surface is collective noise. Beneath that is personal conditioning. Beneath that is intuition. Beneath that is pure awareness. And at the deepest level, there is a coherent state of consciousness that contains everything you will ever need to navigate your life with clarity and strength. This is what ancient traditions have called the source. This is what modern science might describe as the quantum vacuum, a place where potential exists before form. A level of reality that responds instantly to intention when intention is not tangled in fear. When you operate from thought identity, you broadcast chaos. You receive chaos. You experience chaos. When you rest in awareness identity, you broadcast coherence. You receive coherence. You experience coherence. Never underestimate the shift that happens the moment you stop believing thinking is the center of your intelligence. The brain processes information. The field holds information. Awareness chooses which information becomes your experience. Every belief you hold acts as a filter. If you believe the world is hostile, you tune into evidence of hostility. If you believe you are helpless, you tune into situations that confirm it. If you believe nothing ever works out, you tune into roads that lead you back into struggle. The field does not punish you. It mirrors you. When you begin to witness thoughts, instead of serving them, you disrupt the old broadcast. You create space. That space is powerful. It allows a new frequency to take the lead. A frequency that comes from who you actually are, rather than who you have been conditioned to be. Feel into this right now. Notice a thought, any thought. See that you are aware of it. In that observation, the observer takes command. Feel the subtle expansion in your chest. Feel the space behind your eyes. Feel the silence that begins to grow. That silence is the doorway into a new frequency. Awareness has its own energy. It is stable, balanced, clear. When awareness takes the lead, your heart field becomes coherent. Your electromagnetic broadcast becomes organized, and the field responds with synchronicity, support, alignment. This is the moment when reality stops pushing against you. It starts moving with you. Your life becomes a reflection of awareness instead of a reflection of fear. Your decisions become guided instead of forced. Possibilities expand instead of contract. And you discover that reality was never the enemy. The enemy was identifying with a frequency that did not belong to you. You always had access to the deeper field, but access was blocked by noise, by believing the noise, by living as if you are the noise. Now you can dial into a different station. The field is not outside of you. You are inside the field. You are a living expression of the field. You are one node within a network that responds to your state of consciousness instantly and precisely. Every moment you choose awareness, you upgrade your frequency. Every moment you witness rather than react, you expand your power. Every moment you release a limiting thought, you tune into a higher level of intelligence. The field does not listen to your thoughts. The field listens to your state, and your state shifts the moment you recognize the observer. This is the evolution of identity, from mind to awareness, from reaction to creation, from noise to coherence. You are not the brain, you are not the voice, you are the signal that chooses everything. Something fundamental begins to change when you stop believing you are your thoughts. It is not simply a mental improvement. It is not positive thinking. It is a collapse of the false identity you have been carrying for years, the identity made of fear, the identity made of assumptions, the identity made of inherited beliefs and unexamined noise. When you observe the mind, instead of becoming the mind, you step into a bigger version of yourself, a version that cannot be defined by a single thought, a version that cannot be limited by a single memory. Awareness becomes the center, not the voice inside the head. This shift changes how you see yourself, and it changes how reality responds to you. Think of all the times you have said, "I am anxious," or "I am not good enough," or "I always fail." Those phrases were not descriptions of your true nature. They were descriptions of repeated thought patterns. Patterns that convinced you they were who you are. Patterns that have played for so long that you forgot life existed outside them. But when the observer awakens, the truth becomes undeniable. You are not anxiety. You are aware of anxiety. You are not unworthy. You are aware of a belief in unworthiness. You are not a failure. You are aware of the story of failure. Awareness separates your sense of self from the content of the mind. And in that separation, your identity becomes fluid instead of fixed. You are no longer trapped inside outdated beliefs. You are no longer defined by the worst moments of your past. You become the one who can rewrite the narrative rather than the character trapped inside it. Feel what that means. You are not improving a limited identity. You are dissolving the limitation entirely. Imagine a person wearing a mask for so long that they forget it is a mask. They think the mask is their face. They defend it, protect it, suffer because of it. Then one day they look in the mirror and realize the mask was never them. And when the mask falls away, they feel air against their skin for the first time. That is the shift of identity, the removal of the mask of thought. Thought identity needs proof. Thought identity needs validation. Thought identity lives in scarcity because it is always at risk of collapse. It needs praise to feel powerful. It needs success to feel worthy. It needs attention to feel real. It is a fragile construction, always afraid that one failure or one rejection or one mistake will expose it. Awareness identity does not need any of that. Awareness does not get stronger with compliments or weaker with criticism. Awareness does not rise when life goes well or fall when life goes wrong. Awareness remains steady, present, unaffected. Once awareness becomes your identity, you realize that you have been searching for stability in the wrong place. You looked for peace in achievements. You looked for love in approval. You looked for confidence in outcomes. But none of these ever lasted. They faded as soon as the mind created a new worry. True stability comes from the space that watches the mind, not from the mind itself. Many people fear losing their identity because they think identity gives them a sense of self. But what they do not see is that identity built from thought is a prison made of opinions and expectations. Every time you say, I must be this person or I cannot change this part of myself, you tighten the chains. You shrink. You suffocate inside a version of you that never fit. When awareness takes the lead, those chains snap. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to expand. You are allowed to reinvent yourself without asking permission from your past. There is a moment in this transformation that feels like stepping off a cliff. If I am not my thoughts, then who am I? That question is not a threat. It is an invitation to meet yourself without stories, without roles, without limits. You discover that you are presence. You are consciousness aware of existence. You are the open space in which everything appears. And because you are not a fixed object, you can move freely in reality without fear of losing yourself. This shift is not theoretical. You feel it in your body. Your shoulders relax. Your breath deepens. Your nervous system stops reacting to imagined threats. Tension fades because tension was a product of identification with fear. When you stop being the fear, there is nothing to defend. Try noticing right now. Bring attention to your breathing. Notice the sensation of the inhale. Notice the sensation of the exhale. As you observe, you realize that awareness is present without thought. You do not need to say, I am breathing. It is simply known. That knowing is who you are. That is the beginning of freedom. The world will still challenge you. People will still misunderstand you. Difficulties will still arise, but the difference is profound. Before, every challenge felt like a threat to who you are. Now, every challenge is an experience happening inside awareness. You can respond with wisdom instead of panic. You can act instead of react. This is what strength feels like when it is not manufactured by the mind. Calm, grounded, silent, unbreakable. Identity shift also changes how you relate to others. When you no longer see yourself as a thought pattern, you no longer see others as thought patterns. You recognize that they too are awareness lost in the story of the mind. Compassion grows naturally. Understanding deepens. You no longer need to win or compete. You no longer need to prove yourself. You simply show up as yourself and let others do the same. Relationships transform because communication now comes from presence rather than insecurity. Life transforms because intention now comes from clarity rather than fear. And reality transforms because the field responds to your broadcast. When awareness is your identity, your frequency stabilizes. The field organizes itself around coherence. Synchronicities increase. Opportunities appear. Energy flows toward your growth, not your survival. You enter a state where you are guided rather than lost. This identity shift is not a one-time moment. It is a practice, a remembering. Thoughts will try to pull you back into the old story. Let them come. Let them go. Do not fight them. Do not believe them. Return to the observer again and again. Each return strengthens the new identity. Each return deepens your freedom. Eventually, awareness becomes your home. Thought becomes a passing visitor. Emotion becomes a message, not a command. Life becomes something you participate in consciously rather than endure unconsciously. You no longer ask, "Who am I?" You feel who you are. You feel it in the stillness behind every moment. You feel it in the presence that never leaves. You feel it in the depth of yourself that is untouched by thinking. You are the one who sees. You are the one who knows. You are the one who exists beyond story. And when your identity rests there, everything changes. You have stepped out of the mind. You have stepped into consciousness. This is the shift of identity, the return to truth. Thinking is loud. It demands attention. It interrupts your silence. It claims authority. It insists that it knows what is best. But beneath all that noise, there is a deeper intelligence quietly guiding your life. An intelligence that does not speak in sentences. An intelligence that does not argue or shout. An intelligence that simply knows. You have experienced this many times without realizing it. You knew who to trust without needing proof. You felt that a situation was wrong even when your mind tried to justify it. You sensed that a dream was calling you before logic could explain why. A whisper in your chest, a pull in your gut, a clarity behind your eyes. That quiet knowing appeared before the mind could interfere. That quiet knowing is the real intelligence. Thoughts are commentary. Awareness is comprehension. Thought tries to predict. Awareness perceives what is real. Thought is built from memories and fears. Awareness is rooted in the present moment where life actually happens. Imagine your mind as a surface layer of the ocean. Waves are constantly forming and collapsing. They represent thought, movement, activity. But beneath the waves lies an immense stillness, deep, vast, calm. That depth represents awareness, presence, insight. Most people spend their lives surfing the surface, chasing one wave after another, being tossed around by emotion, trying to control the water, exhausted by turbulence. They forget that stillness is only a few feet below. They forget that they can dive. They forget that they are not the waves. When thought identity falls away, you begin to sense that depth again. You begin to feel the intelligence that has been buried under mental noise. And this intelligence has abilities the thinking mind can never match. Thought cannot see beyond its own limits. It can only rearrange old information into new combinations. But awareness has access to the entire field of possibility. It sees the world directly as it is, not filtered through fear or history. Often the solutions that change your life do not come while thinking. They arrive when thinking stops. They appear in stillness, in the shower, on a walk, in the middle of the night. Suddenly you see what you could not see before. Suddenly you understand what confusion had hidden. This clarity is not random. It is the natural expression of your deeper intelligence. When the surface mind relaxes, the deeper mind reveals itself. Thinking is a flashlight. Awareness is the sun. The flashlight has value. It can target specific details. It can focus you, but it shows only a tiny piece of reality. When the sun rises, you see everything at once. Awareness illuminates the entire landscape of your life. It connects dots the thinking mind never noticed. It reveals paths that fear blocked. It recognizes truth without needing analysis. There is a reason you feel peace when you are truly present. Presence is the signature of this deeper intelligence. The mind slows down, tension softens. You feel grounded in a way that has nothing to do with accomplishment or control. You are rooted in something real, something constant, something that has been guiding you quietly since the moment you were born. Awareness does not predict the future. It responds to what is happening now, and reality unfolds in the now. All transformation happens in the now. All intuition is delivered through the now. Try to notice this in your experience. Right now, there is a silent intelligence noticing these words. You do not need to think to feel that you are here. You do not need to think to know that you exist. That recognition comes before thought. It is the origin. It is the truth. Thought is the echo. Awareness is the source. Some people believe that if they stop thinking, they will lose their intelligence. The opposite is true. When you stop believing every thought, you access a higher level of intelligence. Thinking becomes a tool you choose to use rather than a force that uses you. The mind is excellent for solving practical problems. It can calculate, plan, build, but it cannot decide who you are. It cannot tell you what you love. It cannot show you your purpose. Those answers come from the deeper layer, the layer that feels rightness, the layer that recognizes meaning. Awareness guides. The mind executes. When awareness leads, your decisions become aligned. You do not waste energy chasing approval. You do not sabotage yourself with doubt. You do not betray what you truly want. You feel a direction. You feel a pull. You trust it. And the mind becomes the servant that figures out how to move in that direction. This is the order of intelligence when you awaken. Awareness first, thought second. When thought tries to lead, it always reaches a point where it gets stuck. Because thought cannot see beyond what it already knows. It repeats the past. It protects familiar patterns. It clings to what is safe. But growth is not safe. Transformation is not predictable. Evolution requires stepping into the unknown. And only awareness can do that. Awareness does not fear the unknown because awareness lives there. Presence is not afraid of silence. Silence is its home. And in silence you discover your most powerful abilities. The ability to listen to your inner world clearly. The ability to feel what resonates and what does not. The ability to sense when to act and when to wait. The ability to navigate life from a place of wisdom instead of reaction. This intelligence beneath thought is universal. It is the same intelligence that breathes your lungs, that heals your wounds, that beats your heart every second of your life without needing your permission. That intelligence knows life. It knows how to survive, how to adapt, how to thrive. It has been doing this since long before the thinking mind ever developed. Thinking is a recent evolution. Awareness is ancient. You are not learning something new. You are returning to what has always been here. Notice what happens when you relax into this deeper state. Fear loses its power because fear feeds on the future. Worry disappears because worry feeds on stories. Self-judgment fades because self-judgment feeds on comparison. In the presence of awareness, these patterns have no meaning. They cannot survive in a space that sees the truth. The truth is this: you do not think your way into freedom. You remember your way into freedom. You step back into the intelligence that has always been guiding you. You surrender the illusion that the voice in your head is your leader, and you begin to live from the center of your being instead of from the boundaries of your mind. Feel this inside you now, beneath the thoughts, beneath the emotions, beneath the roles you play, beneath the story you have been telling. There is awareness, calm, present, alive, always here. That is the intelligence beneath thought. That is the guide you have been searching for. That is who you are. Reality is not indifferent to you. It is not a fixed structure that ignores your inner world. It responds, it aligns, it mirrors, it reflects the frequency you broadcast through the state of your awareness. You are not simply living in a universe. You are in conversation with it. Every moment, every breath, every thought or belief, every feeling in your chest, all of it is a signal being transmitted into the field around you. You may not see this broadcast with your eyes, but you feel the consequences in your life, the relationships you attract, the opportunities that appear, the challenges that repeat. They are not random. They are reflections of the frequency you project. Your mind creates signals, your heart amplifies them, your state of consciousness sends them out into the world, and the field responds to what you are being, not to what you are wishing for, not to what you are pretending to be, not to what you are forcing in your mind. The field responds to your true frequency. Think about a time when you woke up feeling inspired. Ideas flowed easily, people were kind, timing worked perfectly. The day felt like it was on your side. That was not luck, that was resonance. Now think about a time when fear controlled your morning. Everything felt heavy, people seemed difficult, blocks appeared where you hoped for support. That was not misfortune, that was resonance. The world mirrors your frequency before it mirrors your intentions. Fear broadcasts a signal that pulls more fear into your awareness. Doubt broadcasts a signal that attracts more situations demanding proof. Scarcity broadcasts a signal that keeps abundance out of view. These are not punishments, they are reflections. They show you the frequency you are tuned into so you can choose differently. When you identify with every thought, your frequency is chaotic. It shifts rapidly. A few moments of hope, then a flood of worry, a burst of excitement, then a wave of insecurity. The field cannot respond coherently because the signal is unstable. But when awareness becomes your identity, the signal stabilizes. You broadcast from a deeper center, from clarity instead of confusion, from presence instead of fear, from coherence instead of fragmentation. And reality immediately begins to reorganize around that stability. Life becomes responsive rather than resistant. Imagine you hold a tuning fork and strike it near a second tuning fork, tuned to the same pitch. The second fork begins to vibrate automatically. It resonates. It joins the frequency of the first. Your consciousness functions in the same way. When you embody a frequency of confidence, aligned opportunities begin to vibrate toward you. When you embody a frequency of peace, people who carry peace notice you. When you embody a frequency of clarity, paths that once looked complicated now reveal the next step. The field listens to the vibration, not the vocabulary. Many people try to change their lives by changing their thoughts. They repeat affirmations. They force positivity. They try to manifest through mental strategy, but the field does not respond to words. It responds to the energy beneath the words. You can say, "I am confident," while broadcasting fear. You can say, "I am loved," while broadcasting loneliness. You can say, "I am wealthy," while broadcasting scarcity. What you say is not what creates your reality. What you are being creates your reality. When you disconnect your identity from thoughts, you remove the biggest source of distortion in your frequency. When you stop collapsing into fear, you stop transmitting fear. When you see doubt without becoming doubt, you stop amplifying a signal that blocks possibility. You begin broadcasting a clearer version of yourself. Coherence replaces chaos. Presence replaces panic. Trust replaces tension. This shift is not subtle, it is visible. People treat you differently because they feel the change, even if they cannot explain it. Conversations open rather than close. The right doors appear rather than disappear. Life starts working with you rather than against you. The field is precise in its response. It does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are vibrating. If you want a different life, you do not need to fight for it. You need to tune into the frequency of the person who naturally lives that life. This is not a performance. It is not pretending to be someone else. It is returning to awareness and letting the field reflect your true nature instead of your old conditioning. Awareness is already whole. Awareness is already safe. Awareness is already complete. When you broadcast from there, you radiate a frequency that nothing can diminish, a frequency that transforms environments, a frequency that does not need validation to remain strong. Every day, you are choosing who broadcasts, the mind or awareness, fear or clarity, past or presence, survival or expansion. Notice right now the quality of the energy inside you. Pay attention to the pace of your breathing, the openness of your chest, the focus behind your eyes. This is the real broadcast. not the words in the mind, but the state beneath them. You are not trying to change your thoughts. You are changing where you observe from. When you observe from the mind, you transmit confusion. When you observe from awareness, you transmit coherence. Everything you attract depends on this choice. Watch what happens when you anchor yourself in awareness. The inner critic becomes background noise. The nervous system calms. A sense of grounded strength appears. You feel rooted in something unshakable, and from that place life feels different. The world becomes less threatening and more responsive. You stop fighting reality. You start collaborating with it. Energy moves toward your intentions because nothing in you is contradicting them. You are not projecting a desire for change while broadcasting fear of change. You are not hoping for abundance while broadcasting lack. You are not requesting love while broadcasting unworthiness. You become aligned, inside and outside. The field does not decide your fate. It mirrors your state. It is waiting to give you what you are ready to receive. It is waiting to meet you at the frequency of your authentic self. And that self is revealed the moment you stop identifying with the passing noise in your mind. Feel the depth of this truth. You are not begging life to get better. You are allowing life to rise to the level of your awareness. And awareness has no limit. What happens around you becomes a reflection of what has awakened within you. You are always broadcasting. You are always in resonance with something. The question is simple. Are you broadcasting from fear or from awareness? From contraction or from expansion? From the mind or from the field? The answer determines the reality you walk into next. Broadcast as who you truly are and watch reality respond. Every moment you are making a choice. Not a choice about what to think, not a choice about what to feel. Those are surface choices, automatic, conditioned. The real choice happens beneath all of that. The choice of who you are in this moment, the choice of where you stand in consciousness, the choice of the frequency you broadcast into the field. This is the quantum choice. It is not a decision made through effort. It is not a decision made through force. It is a shift in identity, a shift in where you place your awareness, a shift from thought to presence, from fear to clarity, from survival to expansion. Most people believe they must change reality first in order to feel different. They wait for success to feel confident. They wait for love to feel worthy. They wait for proof to feel powerful. They wait their entire lives for the world to validate them. But the world is responding to the signal they are currently broadcasting, and that signal is filled with waiting. If you wait for reality to change before you change, you remain tuned to the frequency of the old self. And the field can only respond to what you are being right now. The quantum choice inverts the entire structure. You shift first. The world shifts second. You do not wait for freedom. You express freedom in the silence beneath your thoughts. You do not wait for confidence. You breathe confidence from the space behind your eyes. You do not wait for a new life. You align with the version of yourself that is already living it. Your future self exists right now as a frequency. You tune into that version by choosing that state of consciousness in this moment. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Feel this truth. When you become aware of awareness itself, you are already living as that future self. The one who is not ruled by fear. The one who acts from clarity. The one who trusts the intelligence flowing through the field. The one who is guided rather than lost. The quantum choice is the choice to remember who you are before thought, before identity, before story. A thought says you are limited. Awareness reveals your limitlessness. A thought says you are not enough. Awareness contains infinite enoughness. A thought says the world is against you. Awareness sees that the world is responding to you. The moment you choose presence over noise, reality begins to reorganize. You move from the timeline of the conditioned self to the timeline of the conscious self. You step off the path that repeats the past and onto the path where the unknown becomes your ally. The unknown is not the enemy. It is the only place where new reality can emerge. Thought fears the unknown. Awareness thrives there. Imagine two versions of your life. One built from fear, one built from awareness. Both are available. Both are possible. The difference lies in the frequency you choose to embody right now. Fear frequency keeps you trapped in old loops. Awareness frequency moves you into your future. Fear repeats. Awareness evolves. Every time you observe a thought instead of becoming it, you choose the future. Every time you breathe into the present moment instead of collapsing into imagination, you choose the future. Every time you recognize that emotions are passing energy instead of permanent identity, you choose the future. The quantum choice is made in the smallest moments. The moments where no one is watching. The moments where the mind tries to convince you to shrink. The moments where you remember that you are not the voice. You are the witness. People dream about changing their lives. They hope for transformation. But transformation only begins when the observer leads the broadcast. When awareness becomes the one who navigates. When the mind is given its rightful role as a tool rather than a ruler. This is not spiritual fantasy. This is energetic mechanics. When you choose awareness, you activate coherence in your nervous system. The heart and mind synchronize. The electromagnetic field becomes ordered. And coherence magnetizes alignment. The field responds instantly to coherence. You no longer push against life. You move with life. Look back at your experiences. The greatest breakthroughs did not come from fear. They came from presence. The greatest decisions were not made from panic. They were made from clarity. The greatest versions of you did not appear in survival mode. They appeared when you remembered who you are beyond survival. This remembering is the quantum choice. It is the turning point, the pivot, the moment when you become the creator rather than the created. Reality is not waiting for you to become worthy. You already are. Reality is not waiting for you to become powerful. You already are. Reality is not waiting for you to become aligned. Alignment is a decision you make with your awareness. Feel the shift that happens when you drop the need to control the future. Feel the shift when you stop arguing with the past. Feel the shift when you stand fully in the present. The field opens, energy flows, synchronicities accelerate. You sense the universe meeting you in silence. Your life does not change from thinking harder. It changes the moment you stop believing the thoughts that limit you. It changes the moment you return to presence as your identity. It changes the moment your broadcast becomes coherent. This is the power you have always had. You were never waiting for permission. You were never missing anything. You only forgot that you were the one choosing your frequency. You are standing at the doorway of two realities. One repeats the old story. One reveals the new self. The doorway is the present moment. The key is awareness. The choice is yours. Not a choice made once in dramatic fashion. A choice made now, and now, and now again. A choice made at the level of frequency. A choice made at the level of being. The quantum choice is simple. Will you broadcast fear or awareness? Will you remain the thinker or become the observer? Will you replay the old timeline or tune into the field where the future is already forming? Feel the truth rise within you. You are not here to repeat. You are here to awaken. You are not here to survive. You are here to expand. You are not here to obey thought. You are here to embody consciousness. Make the choice, not with your mind, with your presence, with your breath, with your awareness of this exact moment, the moment where your life pivots, the moment where your frequency shifts, the moment where reality begins responding to who you truly are. The quantum choice is already happening. You are making it right now. Choose the frequency of the self that is awake, and reality will choose you back.